It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we're going to beer from Thornbridge Brewery and North Brewing Company. So it's a collaboration beer and it's their North Bridge. It's a mountain IPA coming in at 7.2% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. It's a brand new beer available in Tesco as of yesterday, which was the 14th of September. We're filming this on the 15th of September. So this beer is really only a day old, as you know, hitting the supermarket shelves. So it should be super fresh, super good. The question I'm asking myself, and I'm really kind of excited by this style of beer, is what is a mountain IPA? Let's get it out. The beer was £3.50 for the can. So the idea, let's slow down. Let's go back to basics a minute. Let's talk about the look of the beer first. Look at the carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. We've got a 3-finger white head, straw coloured, hazy looking IPA, 7.2% ABV. Fantastic times we're living in. With craft beer at the moment, being able to nip to your local Tesco and buy a double IPA at 7.2%, or more or less a double IPA at 7.2% ABV. Technically it's 8% where you call it a double IPA, but it's margins, it's fractions that we're looking at here at 7.2. I'm not going to grumble over a 0.8% ABV. Now, mountain IPA. It's an interesting style. It's the bitterness of a West Coast IPA and the softness of an East Coast IPA. So an East Coast IPA is generally looked at as a New England IPA. And you talk about that kind of softness with the water and just how beautiful and drinkable it is without the hop bitterness. Well, they've added the hop bitterness here from the West Coast IPA. And I've always been one of these kind of slightly... I love a New England IPA. It's a fantastic style of beer. But I've always sat on the fence a little bit because I've always liked bitterness in a beer. I've always liked bitterness in an IPA. I used to go mad for technically the kind of old-fashioned West Coast style of American IPAs now, which used to be rocking with bitterness, like 90 IBUs, 100 IBUs. All of that's kind of gone by the wayside a little bit, even to the point where Stone Brewing Company changed their classic Ruination. It would ruin your palate. It was called Ruination to ruin your palate, and they brought out, and that was 100 IBUs. They brought out a version 2 of that beer where they knocked the bitterness on the head nearly completely, and it was like, why is it called Ruination now then? They should have just kept with it and then brought out a softer kind of New England IPA style of beer. But anyway, let's get the rest of this 440 can into a glass. So that's the technical explanation for a mountain IPA. Straddling between the two, it's almost sitting on the peak of the mountain, looking over to the east and looking over to the west. That's how I see it. Let's get the aroma. Smells lovely. Tropical, orange peel, fleshy blood orange, grapefruit, tinned pineapple chunks, mango, passion fruit. It smells pretty awesome. Let's dive in. Cheers. Yeah, so really soft, lovely, lovely. Boom, there's the bitterness. There's the bitterness on the back end. Oh, it's very nice. It's very complex. Ooh, well done, Thornbridge. I'm picking up lots of biscuity, kind of bready notes underlying as well. You've got all of that kind of mango, passion fruit, grapefruit, and then bitterness. But as the bitterness is kicking in, you get this underlying malty, bready, wafer kind of biscuit flavours coming through. Really good. Really, really good. Quite a carbonated brew as well. You can feel the carbonation rushing and hissing and fizzing on the palate. And that's something that could be typical of a West Coast IPA. There's a lot of hop bitterness in this beer. It's proper old school. Proper old school. But yeah, mixed with that kind of softness of the... East Coast style. It's lovely. So you're getting a lot of orange peel, fleshy blood orange, grapefruit, mango, citrus. Oh, it's lovely. Like remember the old days when I used to talk about walking through a pine needle forest and grabbing some pine needles off the trees and rubbing them together and getting your nose in, and really kind of lots of tropical kind of piney kind of aromas and flavours. You're getting that in this beer. You're getting that in this beer. Fabulous. Good stuff. And available in Tesco's, yeah, for, what did we say just now? Well, £3.50 a can. I would get this while it's fresh. I'll either be posting this video tomorrow, which will make the beer 2 days old. I'll probably be posting it tomorrow. But it's well worth picking up. Two great breweries in the UK. Thornbridge Brewery, one of the first hoppy breweries to really kind of open in the UK, all the way back, I think it was the late 1990s, but at the same time over here in Wales, we had Otley Brewing Company, Otley Brewery, and they opened around the same time. So it was them in Wales, Otley Brewing Company in Wales, and Thornbridge in Bakewell, producing like one of the first kind of hoppy beers in the UK. And then, of course, lots of other breweries have come along, but I still think Thornbridge are class. I still think they're a class act. They can still mix it with the big boys, they really can. And they've been able to grow at a nice, slow, steady pace from 1990, let's say 1996 for argument's sake. They've been able to grow at a nice, steady pace from back then to today, where they're supplying supermarkets with beer. And that's a nice growth. That's a nice kind of like stepping stone growth, where they've just... I remember when they first hit Waitrose. Cool, it must be 10 years ago now. They first went into Waitrose and the beers were just fantastic. Jaipur in a 500ml bottle, and the New Zealand Pale Ale that I always talk about because it's one of my favourite beers of all time. That was the New Zealand beer from Thornbridge. Lots of Nelson Sauvin hops in it. Terrific beer. And then they steadily went into Morrison's, Tesco's, Asda's, Sainsbury's, and you know, they've had a nice kind of growth trajectory. And then North Brewing Company, another fantastic brewery. Started as a bar in Leeds. Fantastic beers now that they produce. They produce an amazing beer for Tesco. Oh, it's in a red and black can. I always forget the name of that beer, but what a terrific beer that is. And then of course this, back to this. Let's talk about this again. I just wanted to give you a brief history of the breweries because I think it's very important, because they're two iconic brewers. They really are two iconic brewers from the UK. Right, I'm ready to rate this, but first let's give you the hops. Hops are Citra, HBC 353, Brew 1. Hazy, Pineapple Peach, Pine Stone Fruits. Goat's Cheese Salad. Goat's Cheese Salad, here we go. or to have it with. Yeah, it's a picture of a knife and fork. To eat it with a goat's cheese salad. I was thinking, then what have they done here? Right, let's rate it. Interesting new style for me. Interesting new style. I really like it. Sitting on the top of that mountain, looking over to the east coast, looking over to the west coast. Yeah. Fantastic way of explaining and producing a new style of beer, a new style of IPA. I think we're ready. I think we're ready for a new style of IPA now, because we've all been drinking New England IPAs now for 4 or 5 years, and it's about time something come along. The old dreaded Brute IPA tried and failed. That was a one-hit wonder in 2018, the Brute IPA. But this Mountain IPA could be a challenger if you like your bitterness. I like this beer enough to give it an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!